Good evening, everyone. This is Bremster, and this is time for me to bring you another puzzle, this time from Scott Strosahl, who has his own puzzle channel, and I highly recommend it. I will try and remember to link to it in the description. Scott is a much better solver than me. He does a lot more challenging puzzles than I have done so far generally, and he tends to solve them in a much better time. He's also a phenomenal setter. He's been doing it for a lot longer than I have, and he is an incredibly active member of the puzzle setting community, doing a lot of different puzzle types that I simply struggle with. So I will include a link to his channel. I highly recommend it. So this is one of his puzzles, which I found on Logic Masters Germany. It appeared right next to one of mine in the list, and this one has done phenomenally well. I won't talk about how mine has done. So this puzzle was, I drew my attention because I just really liked the geometry and the look of the puzzle, and I did solve it a few days ago, and I found it to be an enjoyable ride. I don't remember my solve path at all. I deliberately, after asking Scott if he would mind if I solved the puzzle, left it for a few days so I would not remember the details, and wanted to come at it as fresh as I could. So now is the time for me to attempt this puzzle. As always, if you like the video, please like it. And if you want to see more, I'm going to try and do at least 2 videos a week. Please subscribe. So let's try this puzzle. So the rules for this puzzle, normal Sudoku rules apply. So in each box, row and column, the digits 1 to 9 must appear without repetition, not must repeat. There is killer rules. So in each of these cages, the digits within the cages must sum to the total given in the top left corner of the cage. There are these between lines. On between lines, I'm not sure if I've done a between line on on my channel before. On these between lines, what you have is the digits on the line must be strictly between the digits in the circle at the end. So not the same as. So if this was, for example, a 2 and this was a 9, then these would have to be from 3 to 8. And that's the case for all of these. There is ratio. So these are kropki pairs. So the black dots mean that the 2 cells neighboring it must have a ratio of 1 to 2, and the white dots mean the cells must be consecutive. So let's see how we go. 4 cell 24, 3 cell 10, 4 cell 25. I will be using my calculator for this. I really don't remember how to start this puzzle. So the 4 cell 16, is that going to be something useful to me? Because on these between lines, you must have at least 5. So this could be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there must be 4, 5, and 6 on these between lines. And I think this is the same for all of the corners. So because you can't put a 1 or a 9 on you can't put a 1 or a 9 on a between line. So each of these cages must have a 1 and a 9. So that's going to narrow things down. So where I want to start is probably this 25 in 4. So if I grab 25 in 4, there is only one that uses a 1 in it, which is 1, 7, 8, and 9. Now if I look at 16, and I grab with 1 and 9, this, with the options, with 1, there's only one that uses a 9. So this is 1, 2, 4, and 9. And I'm pretty certain we're going to be able to determine that you can't have 4 in some of them. Some of these will be more limited. Now 20, I'm expecting to be a lot more open. There's going to be a lot more options for 20, but let's have a look. So it must have a 1 in it. And with a 9, there are 3 options. There's 1289, 1379, or 1469, because it's basically the 3 options that sum to 10 that don't include 1 or 9. But these are definitely more restricted. Now, if I was to put a 4 on a between line, it'd be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and that wouldn't work. So I can take 4 out of those, which means there has to be a 4 in there. Now, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 could work. I could do, but it does mean one of these has to be a 1, because if I was to not make one of the between lines a 1, I can't put numbers between 7, 8, and 9 on this between line, because I still must have a 4, 5. Oh no, I need, wait. But I determined I needed to have a 4, 5, and, oh, no, I don't need to have a 4, 5, and 6 on the between line. I need to have a 5 on the between line, but I can skip the 4, because however I do it, 2, 3, 4, yeah, there needs to be a 5 on the between line, because however you do this, you skip the, you, actually no, there doesn't need to be a 5 on the between line, because I could go, well, for example, if this was 1 and 9, and I put a 5 in here, well, I can't put a 5 in here because these now need to sum to 10. So there must be a 5 on the between line. Yeah, there must be a 5 on the between line, but my initial logic was wrong, because I can't make 2 digits in there that sum to 10. So there must be a 5. So the reason I can't put a 5 on the between, I must put a 5 on the between line now, is I know there is a 1 and 9 in here, which sums to 10. So I need 2 other digits that sum to 10. And if I put a 5 in there, I would need a second 5, which does not work. So there now must be a 5 on these between lines. I'm going to highlight for that. Now, if I was to put a 5 in a corner, that's going to cause a problem, because say I put a 5 here, that would put a 5 down here, which would put a 5 in here, which would leave nowhere in the other corner for a 5. So I can take the 5s out of all of the corners. I don't know if that helps me. So this 24 has got the same restriction. There must be a 1 and a 9 in this 24 cage. So this is exactly the same. So 24 with a 1 or a 9 is 1, 6, 8, 9. So 1, 6, 8, and 9. So, well, we actually know what these are. I'm actually going to pencil mark them. So this is 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7. These are 3, 5, 6, 7, and 8. There must be an 8. Oh, of course. So I can't put the 9 in there. There must be a 9 in the on the between line, but I could still have 1 or 2. This must have a 2, so it's got to have a 1. I can't put the 6 in here, because if I put the 6 in here, the 7 wouldn't be between it. But I can have the 1 or the 8, but it does mean the 6 is in here. In here, I've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which doesn't help for whatever I put on that between line. And I don't know what's in these ones yet. I can take 5 out of the corners. So 10 in 3. Have I missed something here? 13 in 3. 19 in 3. These must have 1s and 9s in them, which means I can't put... I'm going to remember I can't put 5s in the corners, and then I'm going to use different highlighting for these. And what they are is there will be a 1 and a 9 in there, and there will be a 1 and a 9 in there. There will be a 1 and a 9 in there. There will be a 1 and 9 in there. So in these columns, I know that there will be 2 1s in there and 2 9s in there. So I cannot put 1 or 9 in any of those. The same is true in here. The same is true in here. And the same is true in here. Because if I put another 1 or 9 in there, say I put a 9 here in this 19 cage, then that will force 9 down here and 9 into that square. And I will end up with 2 9s in row 8. That's not going to work. So all of these squares that I'm highlighting in green cannot be 1s or 9s. So that means I have to put 1 and 9 into those, and I can't put a 9 on a black kropki dot. So that's the 9. This is a 1, 2, which takes 2 out of there, puts 2 into there. Oh, that's glorious. So now I need to put 1 and 9 in there, but I can't put 1 on the kropki dot because I would need a 2, and I've just forced 2 into there. So that's the 1, and this is an 8-9 pair. I haven't figured this out yet. Now this is either 1, 2 or 8, 9. So this is 1, 2 or 8, 9. And this will be 1, 9. Which means this will be 2 or 8. So I've got a 1, 2, 8, 9 quad in this box. Is that right? And this will be the same. This will be 1, 2, 8, 9, and this will be 1, 9. I think that's correct. I can't see how that would go any other way. Not sure how it helps me here yet, but it's going to help me for these cages. So what I need to look for now is a 3-cell 10 cage without a 1 in it. And there's only one option for that, which is 2, 3, 5. Now that takes 3 and 5 out of there. And I now know what these 3 cells are. I've got 1, 2, 3. I need to put 4. I've got 5. I need to put 6, 7 in. Now 4 is not a consecutive number with 6 or 7. So that's the 4, and that's the 6, 7. That takes 7 out of there, takes 6 out of there. Puts 7 into there, which puts 7 in the top of box 1. My pencil marking is all over the place, but I'm really not caring. This is interesting. This is really interesting. This 17 cage. So if I look for a 17 cage in 3, now anything that uses a 1 or a 9 immediately gets removed from my list. Now that does leave me with a lot of options. I also can't use 2 or 8 because I've got the 2, 8 quad. So that leaves me with only 4, 6, 7. So this is 4, 6, and 7. Because everything else required an 8. And I think I've mentioned before, but I use a calculator because I think it is much more interesting for you to see the logic of the puzzle than it is for me to sit there struggling with math because I'm slow at it. If you disagree, please send me a message, Bremster, on the Cracking the Cryptic Discord server. Email me in the details below, leave a comment. If you disagree, then I'm happy to change, or if enough people comment. But the feedback I've received so far is that this is actually good. So this is a 3-5 pair. 4, 6, 7. This is going to start, which means this is not a 7. Now, I've got this 20 cage in 4 with a 1 and a 9 in it and no 7. So 20 cage in 4, it must have a 1 in it, it must have a 9 in it, and it can't have a 7. So that's left me with 2 options. Hang on, has it left me with 2 options? Yes, it's left me with 2 options. So it's 1289 or 1469. And I can't use 1469 because if I use 1469, I can't put 4 there. Oh, hang on, maybe I can. No, I can't put... Oh, if I did it, this would be 19 because I can't put 46 up the top, and I'd have to put 46 down the bottom, and it would conflict with that cell. So 46 is already up here. So this would be the 19, this would be the 46, and I couldn't fill that cell. So I can't use 1469. This is 1289. That's very clever. Told you Scott was a good setter. 235 takes 2 out of the bottom. This is a 1289 quadruple, so 2, well, I know 2 must go in the top, so that is kind of pointless. This is not a 4. This becomes a 3-5 because that's the only thing missing from that row. This is 1, 7, 8, 9, 2, 3, 5. This becomes a 4, 6. Okay, let's look at this 13 cage, because once again, I've got a 3-cell 13 cage without a 1 or a 9 in it. So what are my options? There's actually quite a few. I can't use a 2 either because I've got this 1-2 pair, and immediately this becomes very restricted. This is 3, 4, 6. So there's no 3, 4, or 6 up there. There's no 3 or 6 down there. There's no 4 there, which makes that a 4, which takes 4 out of there. 4 is now in there. Now this is 3, 4, 6. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. 5 is not next to either 7 or 8, so that goes in that order. We take 7 and 8 and 5 out of there. This is now a 9 because that was 8 and 9, and it sees that 7, 8. These are no longer 9. This is no longer 8 or 7. That's the 1. That's the 8. That's the 7. This is no longer 1 or 9. That becomes the 2. That's the 1. That's the 9. This highlighting is probably not helping me anymore, but that's neither here nor there. This 5 is looking over here. That's a 3. That's a 5. That 3 is taking 3 out of there. Actually, I'm going to get rid of the highlighting, I think. So 1 comes out of those. 9 comes out of those. 9 comes out of those. 1 comes out of those. This is an 8-9 pair, so I take 8 out of those, which I could have done from that. It kind of feels like I should be looking at this 19 cage now. So 19 in 3. That's a lot less useful. Now I can't use a 9, so it's 4, 7, 8. 4, 7, 8 or 5, 6, 8. So it must have an 8 in it. So there's no 8 down here, so there's no 9 in there, because the reason I had 8, 9 in here is if I put a 9 on the consecutive dot, I must put an 8 on it. I can't put an 8 in it because there must be an 8 in a cage. That becomes a 1, 2. That becomes a 9. So while I don't know what this cage is, it has given me what that is. Wow. So has this become more? I'm like, can't put 4 in either of those. I can't put a 1 there. Oh, I'm sure there's stuff all over the place that I am missing. 5 can't go in there. There was probably a better way to pencil mark all of this so I didn't have everything, but the visualization helped me, so That's a 1, 2, 8, 9 quadruple. So that can't be an 8 or a 9. Or a 1. That's a 6. That is not a 6. That's a 4. That's a 7. There is no 7 there. There is no 4 there. This is a 3, 6. Oh, there's a 7, 8 looking down here. That's a 5. That's a 2. That is not a 2. Is there going to be more stuff like that? This 20 cage now, do I want to look at that? Quite possibly. I'm going to start this from first principles because I don't know if I screwed up. So it must have a 1 and a 9 in it. So all of those. So yes, 1, 2, 8, 9. So this would be 1, 2, and I can't do 8, 9. So if I put, because of this 1, 2, I'd have to put 1 and 2 down here, which would make this 8 and 9 if I do 1, 2, 8, 9, and I can't put an 8 in the top. So 1, 2, 8, 9 is not possible. 1, 3, 7, 9. 1 would go down here. 3, 7, 9. Not inherently seeing why that couldn't be the case. 1, 4, 6, 9. 4 and 9 would go at the top because 4 and 9 are there. So this would have to be 1 and 6. And I'm not inherently seeing why that would not be possible. Now, take 8 out of there. 7 must go in there. 8 must go in there. Well, 8 is in those two. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8, 9, 8, 9. I feel it's got to be this. Is it one of the options does... Oh, I could always put 1 and 9 on the between line, though. Is it what are the options for this kropki dot? Because I can't put 1, 2, or 4 on this kropki dot. So if I can't put 1, 2, or 4 on it, this has to be 3, 6. That 6 makes that a 3 and makes that a 6. This cage is going to be more restricted now. So the 19 cage, the options were 4, 7, and 8, which I can do, 5, 6, and 8, which I can't. So this is 4, 7, 8, which makes this a 5? Yes, that's a 5. That is not a 5. That is not a 3. That is not a 3. There is no 5 there. Is that the only place in that column for a 9? Yes, it is. That's a 9. So that's a 1 because it needs to be far enough away to put digits in. That's a 2. That's a 1. That was possibly there before. That is not a 1. In fact, that is an 8. makes that a 7, which makes that an 8. I don't know if I needed that kropki dot for all of this or if I was just missing things. That's a 2, which makes that a 1, which makes that an 8-9 pair. Looking at the grid like an idiot. That's an 8, that's a 9. That 6 is making that a 7. Hit the right keys, Bremster. And that is 6. This is not an 8 anymore. 2, 3, 4, 7, that's all fine. That is not an 8 anymore. That 4, 7 makes that an 8. That 1 is making that a 2 and that a 1. That 2 is taking 2 out of all of those, so that's a 3, 5, 7 triple. That 7 is making that a 3, that a 5, and that a 7. Taking 7 out of all of those. I can take 3 out of those. That 2, 4 is making that a 5, which makes that a 2, which makes that a 3. This is a 4. This is a 7. This 8 makes this a 9 and this an 8. There'll be something looking at this. That 3 makes that a 6, which makes that a 3. That 6 now looks back, making that a 4, and that a 6. The 4 looks back, making that a 2, and that a 4. Have I resolved any of this yet? No. It's very weird I have not done anything in this box. That 2 looks up, making that a 1 and that a 2. I've got to be able to do something in this box now. So it's 1, 3, 7, 9. So if it was 3, well, 1 now must go there because I can't put 1 there anymore. 9 is still open. So it's 1. If it's 3, it's there. If it's 7, it's there. And if it's 9, it's there. If it's 1, 4, 6, 9, I can't put 4 in there anymore. So it's 1, 3, 7, 9. These are now 2, 3. I need to put a 4 in there. 5. That's a 6, so this becomes an 8. That resolves this 9 and this 8. This column is missing a 5, which makes that a 3, which makes that a 5, that a 5. I've had that sitting there for ages looking at that 3, 4, 6 triple. And that 5, of course, there's been a whole heap of stuff over here. So that's not a 3 or a 7, so that's a 6. That's a 3. There is no 3, 6 here. That's a 7, 8. That's an 8. That's a 7. That 6 is looking up, making that a 4. That is not a 4. This is a 3, 6 pair. That 6 makes that a 3 and that a 6. The 4 looks over, making that a 6. That makes that a 4. That a 6. And 1, 2, 3, 4. And the last digit is a 7, and that looks good to both the software and me. Thank you, Scott. People have been rating this about a 2 out of 5 in difficulty, and I would agree with that, but I really like this puzzle. I wanted to do a video on this, and I hope people both watch the video, and I hope they tried the puzzle, because yeah, this was good. And if they did get stuck, if they did have trouble seeing any of the logic, then I hope they were able to use the video to get past the bit they were stuck and then just keep exploring. Yeah, I will explore more of Scott's puzzles. They're excellent, and do have a look at his channel. I really do like the... he is a very good solver, and he's a very good presence on his channel. He explains things very well. It's something for me to aspire to. Thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you on my next video.